Hi, I am John from Just Whiskey. If you like today's show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. And what I offer Patreons is Patreon exclusive videos that I review that are only available to Patreons. So there's some special things in there, and check it out if you are so inclined. And remember, folks, it's just whiskey. Today we are going to be talking about the newest incarnation of Kilkerran 16-year-old 2023. And I'm going to reference it a little bit to Kilkerran 16 2021 and 2022. And you're saying, John, if there's 2021 and 2022, how come you only have one bottle out? That is because, well, I've previously reviewed Kilkerran 16 2021, and I reviewed Kilkerran 16 2022. And what I did was I had two half bottles. After those reviews, I married them together into this one bottle here. All right, so the specs on the Kilkerran 16 2023, 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, no coloring added. It says so on the bottle. And the cask makeup of the newest batch, 2023, is 60% ex-sherry, 35% ex-bourbon, and 5% rum, okay, which is a departure from the previous batches, which are mostly ex-bourbon, okay. Roy from Aquaviti hailed this new Kilkerran 16 2023 as a banger, and he mentioned that, it's the sherried version, but if you look at the color, there's not a huge color difference. The newest one is slightly darker, but not by much, which leads me to believe that those sherry casks, and I'm really not even picking up much sherry on this one, to be honest with you. So I think those sherry casks are second, maybe even third fill. I don't know, but the color alone is, you can tell that they're not first fill sherry. Second or third fill, who knows, maybe even some of those were even older than that, because I'm really not getting much of a sherry influence in there. Price wise, these things aren't cheap. They're like, in the States, you pay double, I think, maybe even 2.5 times what you can get it for in the UK. If you can find a Kilkerran 16 in the United States, expect to pay $150 to $160, maybe even higher than that. Yeah. Right off the bat, this Kilkerran 16, they're not pour and plays. They need a real long time to open up and oxidize. This bottle has only been open for a few short weeks, but this particular sample, I've topped it off a little bit, but I had this covered with the glass cover for this, for a good couple of hours. Okay, this needs a lot of time to cover it up, and also too, here in New England, in the United States where I live, probably I'm not alone, a lot of other people probably keep their collections in the basement, where it tends to get a little colder in the wintertime in the basement. So whatever you have stored in the basement, really it needs more time to warm up and open up than normal. So I suggest pour anything that you have stored in the basement. Maybe even bring the bottle upstairs, or a few bottles upstairs that you plan to drink in the next week or whatever, and hold the hold, cover it up somehow, hold it in your hands, where in a room temperature area, and really let it warm up, because otherwise it's can be too cold and the flavors are compressed and locked away. So, but particularly, yeah. And what I'm going to give away a little bit here, which I've alluded to when I reviewed the Kilkerran 16 in the past. The Kilkerran 12, in my opinion, is going to get you 90% of the way there for substantially less money. So when you get into the 16-year-old, it's really it's much more subdued and gentler and more rounded. Okay, and another thing too, a little pet peeve of mine. But I specifically noticed it with Springbank, for me personally, is that when you get into the higher age stated, and 16 is not a high age statement, but when I've had Springbank 18-year-olds and a 21-year-old, they still maintain the 46% ABV. And in my opinion, some offerings, the older they get, the ABV should be higher. Like Bruichladdich does everything at 50% ABV, most everything, and Kilchoman, just about everything they do is 50% ABV. But from my experience, when you started getting up into the higher age statements, I think that they really should analyze each release and bump up the ABV accordingly. But that's not the case yet. So the Kilkerran 16, this one and past releases, it needs time in the glass, more so than normal, to really try to. This takes a little bit of work to really get the subtleties out of this. All right, yeah. All right, let's get on with the review. You've waited long enough, right? Okay, so on the nose, again, you really need to let this open up. On the nose, there's quite a bit going on. It's a very nice nose. You're getting some sourdough, some apple cider vinegar. It's a sweetness there. A slight vanilla, but nowhere near the vanilla levels of the previous batches. There's a little bit of anisey in there, a little black licorice, a little bit. The candied fruits are there, peach. You're getting that slight hint of the vegetal peat in there, but it's very well balanced on the nose, very well integrated. Okay, now the palate. It's got a decent viscosity to it, but there's a lightness to it. There's a subtleness to it. There's a delicacy about it. You're getting those tropical fruits. You're getting a nice viscosity. You are getting a little bit of that peach. A little nuttiness in there. Maybe even some honey nut Cheerios. A hint of marzipan. Now for the finish. The finish is a bit, light, short, medium finish. Short to medium finish. But one thing I didn't say in the palate and in the finish, there is noticeably more oak spice and some woodiness in this one, which is not really. I really didn't pick that up on the Kilkerran 16 2021 or Kilkerran 16 2022. So this is noticeably more oak spice and some woodiness to it. The finish, again, short to medium. I'll stick with a medium. That oak spice is that woodiness is there. A little bit of chalkiness on the finish. Yeah. So I would say the Kilkerran 12, you're getting a little more oomph. The Kilkerran 12, right? A little more oomph. Um, Kind of like in a way with Springbank. Springbank 12 cast strength. Yeah, it is cast strength. In my opinion, I mean they're unicorns. They're impossible to find, but Springbank 12 cast strength represents the best that Springbank has to offer. So it's a younger age, but it's also cast strength. Um, but I found like with Springbanks 18 and 21-year-old, I my expectations were so high that I was let down a little bit by them. However, had their ABV been kicked up a little bit, I think it would have brought the flavors out more. Um, okay, comparing it to the 21 and 22, the 21 and 22, a little more vanilla, but you can tell they're Kilkerrans. Okay, so they're, in my opinion, they're not radically different. There's some subtle differences to them. Yeah, I think this conglomeration, this marrying that I've done over here, um, a little more vanilla, a little more condensed, and you're not getting that over woodiness and oak spice that you kind of do get over here in the newest 2023 release. Um, but they're kind of sort of similar. Um, I was really from Roy from Aquaviti, the way he was really gave glowing reviews about this newest Kilkerran 16. I really had real high expectations. So in that regard, um, it didn't meet the hype. That hype's a naughty word, so I should hype's a four-letter word. Not the hype, but the build up. And so I was expecting this to be a banger. In my opinion, it's not a banger. And then other people would be like, John, why are you like complaining? Because I mean, you're able to get Kilkerran 16-year-old, right? So, but I am spoiled for choice. But I think if you watch this whole review, you kind of get where I'm going. But yeah. I mentioned earlier, the Longmorn 16-year-old, 48% ABV, mostly ex-bourbon. This is something you really have to spend time with as well, really explore the subtleties. So that's what you're going to be doing with the Kilkerran 16. You're going to really take your time with it, relax, and explore the subtleties of it. Is it better or worse than the previous batches? It's a slightly different, but factoring in price, factoring in my expectations, I'm going to give this an 87. Okay, I don't recall exactly what I gave for a score in the previous Kilkerrans. I'm thinking I probably scored him a point higher, maybe 2 points higher. I'm not sure. But I think 87 is a solid, if you don't mind really taking your time. This is not a pour and play. So hope that was helpful. I don't want to go on too much longer. Consider becoming a Patreon. The next Patreon review is going to be, which I alluded to earlier, it is going to be the Springbank 25 from the Nichols and Perks inaugural casks that was matured for 25 years in a rum cask strength. Okay, so that's going to be the next Patreon review. And then the one after that is going to be a Ben Nevis, I think a 24-year-old from the same independent bottlers. All right. And I promised a week ago that I was going to do the Just News. Thanksgiving got in the way. I've been very busy raking leaves and raking leaves and raking leaves. But there will be a Just News episode coming soon, fingers crossed. So take care, everybody, and happy holidays.